Hello everyone, welcome back to Triad Travelogues. My name's Richard, and today I'm coming at you from the rooftop of a supermarket in Shanghai, China, with a little segment that I like to call Rants by Richard. Today we're going to talk about standing in doorways. And while that may sound like a really strange indie rock band name, I assure you, it is a very major problem here in Shanghai, and I assume it's a major problem in the rest of the country. Now, what am I talking about? Well, for those of you that have never been to China, let me fill you in. I'm talking about people standing in doorways. There's always gonna be somebody standing in the doorway, no matter where you go. You go to the supermarket, you go to the bathroom, you go to the cinema, you go to the grocery store, anywhere that you go, there's always gonna be at least one person standing in, I would say, 80% of the doorways of wherever you're at. And the thing about these people standing in the doorways is they're not actually doing anything. They're not accomplishing anything. They're not doing anything at all. Some of them are smoking cigarettes. Some of them are playing games on their phones or taking pictures of themselves. But most of them are not doing anything productive at all. I mean, what productive thing could you really do standing in a doorway? And they're blocking your entrance into the building, and they're blocking your exit from the building. And sometimes there's more than one person. Sometimes it's one person, sometimes it's two, sometimes it's a whole group of people. And you know, they have an area to the left that they could stand. And they have an area to the right where they could stand. Right? They could leave the building and go and stand next to the wall where people aren't coming and going. But no, they have to be standing in the most inconvenient place imaginable, right there. In the doorway. They gotta be standing right there, blocking your way. And these people, if you're like, excuse me, you know, you try and sort of, because a lot of them don't speak English and I don't speak Chinese. So a lot of times it's like, hello, you know, you sort of try and get their attention. I'm trying to communicate to you with my facial expressions. I'm irritated with you. You're in my way. This is the doorway of the bathroom. Can you get out of the way? And they never do. They just sort of look at you like, huh? Like they're really confused. You have to physically push them. You have to physically make them move out of the way. And you know, it sort of is just a symptom of a larger problem, in my opinion, which is people that don't really have anything to do, so they just sort of pick a place. They just choose a sort of comfortable looking place and they just stand there. But I see it here so often. It just seems like these people don't have anything to do with their time. So they have to, you know, instead of, I don't know, taking up a hobby, or I don't know, maybe they could go home and watch TV or something. No, they gotta be out standing. Always just standing. Standing in doorways, standing in hallways, standing in the middle of the bathroom smoking a cigarette, standing on the escalator. And I don't know, me personally, I would feel really bored if I was just standing around doing nothing all day long. You know, I bet that guy that's standing in the doorway at the Family Mart right now, preventing people from entering and exiting, I'll bet he's been standing there for 2 hours, maybe 3. Just always smoking a cigarette, always smoking a cigarette. So yeah, they're doing something. It's just not a very productive thing. I don't know, it's just like this idleness that exists here, you know? And I'm from America, which is, I guess, in America, people are hyper aggressive about being efficient with their time and going to work, and they're always in a hurry, you know? Like in Manhattan, everybody's in a hurry, nobody's really paying attention to anybody else. And it's not like that here at all. I mean, I'm not in the city, I'm not in Shanghai city. I'm sort of in a little I'm on the outskirts of Shanghai. So it's a little bit, it's probably it's definitely different in the city than it is where I am. But where I am, it's like there are legions of people that have nothing to do. Young people, old people, these middle-aged people, kids. And they just stand around, they just stand there. Standing in doorways. It does sound like a good band name though, doesn't it? Standing in doorways, hail Satan! And you know, what really interests me is the contrast between the way that people drive here and the way that people walk here. Because people here drive like they've never driven a car before, and they need to get to their destination as fast as humanly possible, at the expense of you and old people and children and animals and any fences or lampposts or signs that happen to be in their way. Like they really need to get to where they're going, right? Really, really, really fast. But then when they get there, they just walk as slow as they possibly can. Or sometimes they just stand in the doorway. And it's very strange, right? It's very strange that on one hand, when they're behind the wheel of a car, they need to get there really, 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 really fast at the expense of everything that's in the way. But on the other hand, when they're not in their car, they just stand and stare. What is that? It doesn't make sense. And always there's somebody in the way, even if they're not just standing in the doorway, or just standing idly and smoking a cigarette, or just standing idly and playing on their cell phone. Even if they're not doing that, there's always somebody in your way. If I'm trying to walk, I'm just trying to walk, you know? And there's always a group of people in the way. And if there's 3 or 4 people and we're in a hallway, those 3 or 4 people are going to be spread out. So there's one person here, one person here, one person here, one person here. And they're stretched out so they take up the whole hallway and you can't get past them. The whole hallway. And if there's only one person and they're in your way and they're walking at their leisure like they don't have a care in the world, and you need to get past them, it's almost like they have some secret, hidden, psychic sense of you being behind them, and they can plan and detect what your next move is going to be and make their move accordingly. So if you're about to move to the left, this person's really slow, I'm going to move to the left. They instinctively know, I need to move to the left too. So they're still in front of you. And they're like, okay, that's fine. I'll just dart over to the right. And then boom, right before you're about to do it, they do it too. They dart over to the right. So they're still in your way. It's almost impossible to get past somebody that's walking down a hallway. All right, it's actually so hot outside right now that I feel like I'm gonna pass out. So I need to go back in the building. But before I do that, I'm gonna tell you a story. And it sort of goes along with this whole rant that I've just given to you. Okay, my first month, I wanna say it was my first month or my second month in Shanghai. I was walking down the sidewalk, and this is actually right over there. And there's a ledge, and it's a pretty high ledge. I'd say it's like, maybe it's like, I don't know, what do we want to say? 1.5 meters, okay? It's a pretty serious ledge. I mean, I could jump off of that ledge and land on my feet if I knew that the ledge was there and I was preparing to jump from that ledge. But if you weren't prepared to jump from that ledge and your body decided to do it without your mind's consent, you'd be pretty messed up. And that's exactly what I saw happen. There was a guy and he was walking, and I guess he didn't see the ledge, and he was doing this. Watch. Playing around on his phone. And when I saw him, the first thing I thought as he was walking towards that ledge is, that guy is not paying attention and he's gonna fall off the ledge. And he did, he fell off the ledge. And when he fell off the ledge, you know, most people, when they fall, they sort of have a reaction. Their body has a reaction, and their arms go out like cats land on their feet. You know, people try and do that too, to land on their limbs. They stick their arms out so they can not get their face smashed up against the concrete. And this guy didn't do that. He just stayed in this position. He was like this. I'll show you, I'll do this, like this. And that guy fell off of that ledge and he landed directly on his face. His smartphone bounced off of his hand and landed on the concrete. His head smashed against the concrete. Dude was out cold. And you know what people did? All the people that are standing around sort of idly with nothing to do, did they help him? Did they think, wow, I've been given a chance from the universe to actually do something with my time today. I should call the police or the ambulance and make sure that this guy's taken care of. No, they didn't do that. Did they say, oh, well, today I don't have to stand around idly doing nothing and just stand in front of doorways smoking cigarettes? I'm gonna see if that man's okay and do my best to try and help him out. No, they didn't do that. You know what they did? They did this. They took pictures of him. Nobody tried to help him. Nobody did anything to try and help this guy. He was knocked out cold. There was blood on the pavement. His smartphone was cracked. And they did nothing to help him. They just took pictures and posted them to WeChat. Okay, I'm done with my rant now. Listen, if you enjoyed this video, you should subscribe to our channel and you should give this video a big thumbs up and maybe a comment. That'd be great. Thanks for watching Triad Travelogues. I'll see you next time.